Shalom. Hi, everyone. It's Anna from Sweden. And I just before I started to recording here, I was thinking about that those followers on my podcast. It's I have in many platforms, but I can tell that it's going lower, my listener, and I know what it is about. That the more I come closer to the truth, the more people disappeared. They don't want to hear the truth. That is, it's both scaring and not nice to know that they prefer to listen at people that have it's confirming what they believe in from the start, from when the parents have told them what to believe in and what they are born in a religion group. That's what they talking about, and they want to stay there. And the more they understand that my podcast is true, it's not be like we think we that is normal people, that we think that's good, that we come to know the truth. But it's most people want to have the negative things. That was one of the first thing I learned in psychology lessons. I have PhD in psychology, and most people is more to trust and want to be in negative answer, a negative lifestyle. Most people, that's what we. I am not researcher on the brain, and I think it is that we, as a child, we hear the negative, and most of the time the negative is more powerful when we are children, and we see the action of negative, and it's created something in our brain when we see it. I know I have many issues that is coming from the childhood. It's not a religion, because we were not talking religion. We had no Bible in my childhood. But it was fighting and screaming and those to take away we children to not see things, but we hear things. And I have hard today, even today, that it's very hard for me to hear high, angry voices that affect me very much. So those services, preachings, there is in some buildings where the devil is in the pulpit, and he is going very angry and aggressive to people, directed to them that there is some wrongs with them, but himself or herself in the pulpit. They are perfect. They can't do anything wrong. It's only other people that do wrong things. And those places you should not be in. But I can't choose for you, but my advice is to walk away from those churches, places where it's very aggressive things going on. And so it was what I was thinking today about this negative things that people when they start to find out that my podcast is about truth, the real heaven and real God, they don't want to hear it, so they go away from it. And also when they feel that they are going to change, they change their thinking about things, that because they hear what I'm talking about, and it's in psychology, it's in people that we want to go back to what we know, what we find, like I belong to this thinking, I belong to this group of people, even if they know that this group of people is negative people. They find themselves going back to those people, because they feel like they know the daily life with this group, and they don't want to change because it's going. They are going to a known place that in their thinking it's negative thinking. They're negative thinker, so they see the new things is of evil when it is good for them. But they think, I don't want her to change me. I don't want her to change my life. I don't want to go away from my friends, what they think is friend, but they are also toxic and negative people, and doesn't go forward, and they don't live. So that's why I see this changing of people. Just now I have most people listen from United States and Canada, and I have some followers in Ireland and Germany that is always with me. They follow me, but most they sit in United States, because I know this about United States, as I have lived there. I have lived there as married and low income in Texas, and I have been homeless in the United States, and then I have visited United States and live with wealthy people. So I have seen many sides of United States, and you know this, you that listen at this podcast from United States, you know that you see your environment, you see your situation today, that and you thinking and saying to yourself, it must be a change. I go to the church every time it's a service in the church. Sometimes I go to the Bible studies, but it doesn't change my situation. I am where I am and have always been there, trying to make money to could pay the bills. And it's hard work. Some of you working 3 jobs, you never really sleep. You always is there for hunting money. And you think that the solution of your problem is money, when it is about you, how you live your life, how you're thinking, what's in your mind. And you don't want to admit, my family was wrong. My parents was wrong in their way to live their life and how to raise me to think in that way, that money is everything, when it isn't. God is not money. The God and money come when you do the work for God. And you should stop to be a student or a listener to the devil, maybe, in the pulpit. It doesn't need to be the devil in the pulpit, but very often is it that, because he won't there. He want to be there. So he target it and go for it. And it can also be that the man in the pulpit is a good man, but he have married the devil. So that's affect how he should think about other people. He can preach, but he don't know about people. And he don't understand that this petite, beautiful woman he married was placed there of the devil. It was the devil's child. And it can be the opposite also. I don't say that is one gender, because it can be the opposite. A very godly woman marry a man that tried to put her down and think negative, when we should in the pulpit be a person of love and not screaming at people what they do wrong, but instead encourage them to do right. So this is for United States. Why I started recording this chapter today is something else. I wake up in the night, just about 1 o'clock in the night. I have been sleeping about 1 hour. I try to go to bed about between 11 and 12 in the evening, in the night. And I wake up, and because it was I have these European blinds that go down in the window, and I didn't have anything of wind going on inside my home, but suddenly I heard like crashing in those plastic metallic blinds I have. It was like it was someone outside that wanted to look in and come in. But I have like fence hedge around where I live to my bedroom, so no one can come in there if they don't jump over the high fence I have. But it's very hard to jump over. It's very high up. So there were no one, but it was scaring. It was scaring sound, like someone wanted to come in, and like break glass, and the blinds was go away from the window. And I say to God, I hope it's my neighbor upstairs that do something that make this sound. But the sound come from my window and not from my neighbor upstairs. And then suddenly there was standing a man in my bedroom. Not a real man. It was a spirit and a man figure, and he was strong, and he was wide. He was not fat, but he was big and tall. And I don't know where I got this from, that he was this killed a person of the submarine, the the little submarine that go down in Titanic, and they be killed there, those people in this little submarine. And it's not so long time ago. It's only a few weeks. But I have experienced that a spirit have coming through after only 7 days to be killed of something, and they return after only 7 days. That is the shortest time I have experienced. So that was not very strange, even if it was strange. So quick he returned. And then I say to him, why do you wake me up in the night? Because I can't do any recording about what you are going to say, because it's 1 o'clock in the night, and it's dark. And he go away when I say that. I say, this is my home, and I control my home, and you are a guest, so you have to find yourself in my rules here, because it's my home, I told him. And you need to come back when it's daylight outside. And he come back, at 5 o'clock. And then I understood I say wrong things to him, because I can't recording when my neighbors is sleeping, because it's so bad isolated here. So they maybe could wake up that I was talking here in my podcast, and so I fall back to sleep. I was up for maybe 1 hour, because to shake everything off, and then I go to sleep, and Now when I started recording here, and it's just after 10 o'clock, I heard a sound that was not real. It was a spirit sound. And I remember I start to forget that he was coming in the night, but he did a sound here. So I remember that I promised him to do a recording in the daylight, and he could tell me what he wanted to tell, that he wanted to tell in the night. I don't know what he's going to say, but he is here now. And he have been a gentleman and waiting for me to talk about these other things to start with. But now I give him a time to talk, why he come through. And I was up in the night about 1 hour, and I look at this with a submarine, and I believe, but I am not really sure, but it seems like it was this man that he had so much money. He was the most wealthy of these people that died in the submarine. And it didn't help that he was very wealthy. It's going in now that he start to talk. When I talking, he say that it didn't help that I was one of the most wealthy people, and he live in South Arabic. He live in Arabic country, but he was from, I don't know, the United States or England or something like that, and it didn't and it didn't help that he had lots of money. He was, I think the word he is saying is, he was reckless. It means that he thought the money should protect him from to be killed, because he go down in the submarine, and he thought it was safe, but it was not safe. He was killed, and that he is saying now to you, he's saying this to you, that the money he had didn't help him. He died young, not very young, but not many years before his time should run out. What he's saying now is that the connection to heaven and God had helped him much more than what the money was giving him. His answer of all problems was money. So he have already affected me when I was talking to you about money. So he did that before I allowed him to talk. He placed it in my brain to talk about money and God, or God and money. That is, first, it says in the Bible to first search for God, and then everything will come to you. But it doesn't help if you don't look for the true God, the only one God there is. And he don't share anything in his power. The mostly power do he have, but he can tell those under him, those in heaven, to work for him, and they do. But the most power and decision is in God, the only one, God. He don't share that with other. Those are his workers. So it doesn't help you to have thought that you knew God and then the money should come into your life. But it isn't like that. If you don't know God, the one in the top, you can't get those money. You can get the money from a wrong direction. The devil is very fast to give money and showing up money. I have come to know some men that have been very wealthy, but they have not show up any picture of themselves to be very wealthy. They don't do that, some people. And people be surprised when they are passed away, and then they find their bank account, or they find the money in their home, and they have been very wealthy, but it have not looked like that. The devil choose those that he want to give money to, for them to show up be like a Christmas tree, decorated so much for people to think that they are one with God as they got so much money. But it's a wrong picture that the devil wants you to see, because they don't need to decorate themselves like a Christmas tree. They don't need to buy dresses for every service they do. They don't need to buy those expensive hats to wear in the service. And they think they need to buy a new hat for every service, and those hats is very expensive. It can maybe hold the family with food for 1 month, those hats they have. They think that the hat showing that God is with them, but it doesn't do that. It can be that the devil have giving them money for that hat, for showing, so people should listen at them and listen at the devil. So we are fooled many times, and I have been fooled many times, and still are fooled many, not so many times, but sometimes I am fooled. But after a little while, I hear from heaven and they telling me to leave that person alone or leave what I'm doing, because it's not of them. So I do. but I can go to wrong side sometimes, because they are very smart, those children of the devil. They are very smart. The devil was with God, very close to God. And I don't think that God should have this God that is the only one. I don't think that he let people that is wrong people should be around him, to be close to him. It was smart people around him, and is. And but the devil wanted more than only to sit on the side of God. So he make him be kicked out from heaven. And it can be like that if you give too much power to wrong person. It can come and bite your own tail if you let them do whatever they want to do. It's not. It's like Jesus was saying. You can't be between the darkness and the light. You need to know where to go and be and working for. You can't be in both of them. So he's I don't know where he's going. He's going now. Oh, he do this with a hand that he's leaving us. So that's what he wanted to talk about. That God is not money. And money is not God. If you first seek God and find out, and not let other people tell you what is God, who is God, and not let those old books and people tell you what to think. You need to clean up your mindset to could place in new things. It's you can't place in new knowledge into old mindset. You need to clean up your mindset so there is a space for the new to bring in, and in that way to ask God and heaven to protect what you place in your mindset, and not place in any closed door because of fear. You need to tell those that is with you in afterlife to help you to clean up your mindset. So only positive knowledge is there, and not let fear be inside your mind. That is what this prayer you do today is a prayer to clean out your mindset and not let the fear be in your mindset. You need to be wise, but you should not have fear. That's so different between these two. Fear and wise. That is, the fear work very seldom logical, but the to be wise works very much in truth and logical. So that's what I give you today, and that's what this man was telling me. So I thank you. He waved with his hand now. Just he go to the portal, the door there. I have shown you. He disappeared there. He come from there. He was not in the blinds, but the wind that was going when he come in, that make my blinds and windows shaking. So thank you for listening, and I recording when I hear from afterlife or when I hear from God, I recording. I don't recording of myself in that way. That I sit here and do the talking about my life in a worldly way to talk about it. I try to work as much as I can for heaven and God and heaven. Thank you.